Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, I am headed to Purdue Fort Wayne's Music Center to learn all about their summer camp for high school students. Then it's Money Monday with Foster Financial, and today we're discussing long-term planning. Then it's not too late to join in on our Broadway giveaway to see the Tina Turner musical at the Embassy Theater. And later, it's Best Reviews, and they're going to show us the best smart home products. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
I am here at Purdue Fort Wayne Sweetwater Music Center, where they are hosting a music technology camp this summer for high school students. You can come in, learn instruments, and make your own song. And right now I'm going to sit with their director of commercial music to learn all about the camp and so much more. Are you ready? I am now joined by John Boutine, who is the clinical assistant professor and director of commercial music here at Purdue Fort Wayne. Hi.
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to join you in your studio. I see all the fabulous equipment around.
Yes, we love using these toys.
Yes, you got your little sound room over there with all the fun equipment happening.
Yes.
And so in this independent building, you all are actually hosting this summer camp. It is the Music Technology Camp.
Yes.
So tell me all about it.
So our Music Technology Camp, this is the third year we've been running it. We go for 4 days. It's from 9 to 4, and students will come in. We'll take students that play instruments, don't play instruments, whatever their interest is in music and technology and how to kind of utilize the tools. We come in, kind of assess where they're at, what their interests are, and we start writing a song.
Okay.
We produce it, we record it,
wow.
then we'll mix it, and then by the end of the week, they walk home with a final mix that they can play to their friends and family and say, hey, this is what I worked on this week.
We got a little mixtape, a little brick-a-brick.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. And so on the technology side, it really does start with all of the components of what it takes, as you said, to create a song. And so you're starting even just like with the production of the equipment and teaching them softwares and programs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of times students from high school, even college students who come into the program, they'll come in here and get really intimidated by all of the gear and all of the knobs and all of the lights. And so what I try to do with this group is kind of just say, it's
1,000 buttons, but they all have a purpose.
Right, yeah, thank you. I'm trying to find the words. Like, it's not as scary as it looks, I guess, is what I try to get across to them. And so we utilize all of these tools and they get their hands on them. We get some instruments in the hands of students who play, but some don't play, and so I'll give them more of a role on this side of the glass and learning how to use Pro Tools and hitting record when we're ready to do a take and just different roles like that get them involved in that process.
Yeah, because that process really includes so many aspects of talent that you all come together to make that final production. And as you said, people have the technical side, but then they also have the musical side. And that includes both if you play an instrument or if you have those vocal talents. I don't. I like to think I do, but I don't. But for those who do, they can sing, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We've had lots of vocalists come through. And writers too, who will come through and write a song, write out their own lyrics, and then come up with the melody. Or we've done some, rap and hip hop genres in the past summers. So we have a fun time. I try to purposely not put too much structure to it, so that when they walk in, we kind of have the freedom to just create. Let's create some art. and learn the tools along the way, right?
Yeah.
So it's worked really well in the past, and so that's kind of my model moving forward.
I love that for sure, because creativity has to be fluid, right?
Yeah.
Just to go with the flow. Where is it taking you? So what are the age ranges that are allowed to attend your camp?
So this summer we're opening it for high school students.
Okay.
So anyone 9th through 12th grade. If it's someone who's just finished 8th grade, they're welcome to join in. And so hopefully we have a good group of students. We've done it for middle school in the past, but this year we wanted to switch things up and do it for high school.
High school, I just missed the cutoff. Okay, so when it comes to the camp dates and registration, so it's taking place July 14th through 17th,
Yes.
but registration is open now, right?
Absolutely, yep. On our Community Arts Academy website, you can go there and register. It's a pretty reasonable fee of $250 for the week. And, you know, we do an exciting thing on the last day where we'll treat you to a meal over at Sweetwater in their diner.
Yeah.
Let you do a little shopping or playing around on instruments over there in their store. And we do that after we've listened to our final mix in here. So it's kind of the morning of work. We'll listen to our final product, and then we'll go celebrate by having a lunch together.
Full circle.
Yeah.
So with you being the director of this camp and just with your experience, I want to learn more. So can you give us a little background just about how you started in music and what are your specific talents?
Sure, absolutely. I started by playing piano at a really young age. And so before I got into the technology, I was really a performer, a player. I did piano lessons all growing up, and eventually found myself playing bass guitar because I wanted to join a band, and everybody else already had picked an instrument, and we needed a bass player, you know? And so I was like, sure, I'll figure out how to play bass, and that became my primary performing instrument. And I would say still is. So I play a lot of bass guitar. I play some acoustic guitar, but in probably middle school, I really started to get into the tech things as well. So I started working for my local church and running sound and involved with their kind of worship and ministry team with the youth group and their sound systems and everything. And so by the time I was a senior in high school, I was kind of the tech person. And one of the bands that I was in, we wanted to record an album. So I bought a little recording rig and taught myself how to use Pro Tools and you know, mic preamps and the basics of, you know, essentially what we have in here, but you know, broken down into a little box. So that's my story of kind of how I fell into music and music technology and production. In graduate school, I was given the opportunity for a teaching assistantship, and so I taught an undergraduate course, which I loved, and that's kind of when I knew that I wanted to teach and become a professor. And so I've kind of followed that path since then.
I love that. So you had your hand in a little bit of everything, which makes you very well-rounded to not only teach, but to really encourage the students at whatever level that they are. And I think that's so important because sometimes kids can get intimidated. They're like, oh my goodness, I don't know everything. So if someone's listening or a parent and they're like, should my kid sign up for this program? What would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, if they're at all a little bit interested in music, it's going to be fun. It doesn't matter what the skill level is, because we'll find something to do where they have a good time, an exciting time creating, and meeting other students who are passionate about similar things, right? And so they can build some bonds because we get students from all different school systems. So they'll form new friendships and connections for making music.
Yeah, that community.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you,
Pleasure
Jessica.
to talk with you.
You as well.
And if you would like more information about the Music Technology Camp that's taking place at Purdue Fort Wayne from July 14th through 17th, we'll have their website listed below so you can get registered. And I'll see you after the break.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Money Monday with Foster Financial, where we provide you with holistic financial advice that's relevant to what's going on right now. And I'm so thrilled to speak with Caleb Doan, who is the Vice President. Hello, Caleb.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
Okay, so today we're going to discuss long-term planning. And, right now we love to talk about what the markets are doing.
Yeah.
And we have seen so much change. It's like we're in whiplash.
Right.
So right now, what should people really be focused on?
Yeah, so so far year to date, we've seen a lot of volatility in the market. So we've seen big drops, we've seen big recoveries over the past few weeks here. And I think it's very easy to get kind of caught up in some of these short-term movements. And it's somewhat exciting too. I mean, you hear about the different tariff policies and things getting reversed and conversations with different countries.
Right.
So it's easy to focus on that. But a lot of things that we like to do with our clients is zoom out a little bit and say, okay, instead of focusing on, what's happened so far year to date, let's actually think about the long-term goals of our finances. Have those been impacted at all? And oftentimes these short-term fluctuations don't impact those long-term goals. And so when the market's down, it can be good to zoom out and say, hey, look, our retirement goal that we're still targeting, we're still able to reach that right now with our current projections. And even when the market's up, we can still say, great, we've seen some of these good returns, and that just helps out these long-term goals.
Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about. What all would qualify as a long-term goal and what you see with your clients?
Yeah, so it's really different for everyone, and that's why we customize it to the individual person. But for a lot of people who are working, it's a certain, age that they're targeting for retirement, or a certain, lifestyle that they want to live in retirement. And so we have these actually written down in our financial plans, and we check in on them with clients during our strategy meetings. And we can say, hey, we're still able to hit that retirement age that we're targeting, or, that home purchase that we were planning in a few years that's unaffected by some of these stock market fluctuations. Because oftentimes, when we have those built into the plan, we have, specific buckets of money set aside for that too. So a lot of times we keep, 3 to 5 years worth of withdrawals in conservative assets. That way, you can still have that, wedding for your child that you were planning on in a few years, or take those normal withdrawals even with market volatility.
Yeah, because that's interesting, because it's like people, of course, have different goals, as you see, but those long-term goals are actually good to have an advisor for. So I don't know if that always correlates. Normally with financial advisor, you're like, okay, I'm planning for retirement.
Right.
But those big purchases, so you're like buying a home, planning a wedding, maybe a large tour across Europe,
Yeah.
a nice little vacation. Any other ones that you see that are really popular that people can start getting in their heads, like, oh, maybe I should save for that?
Yeah, sometimes long-term care planning too. People say, hey, I want certain, money set aside for the possibility of going into a nursing facility later on, or, helping out family too. Maybe they want to help out grandkids with education expenses and set up 529 accounts for them. So, we like to have these long-term goals written out, and I think a lot of people have maybe a rough idea of what those long-term goals are, but we like to actually put pen to paper, put things down, understand what the goals are, and then make sure that we're actually on track towards that goal. And especially when that goal is, 5-10 years out, the stock market dropping a few percentage points doesn't change those long-term goals. And so if we still have a good contribution plan put in place, we expect certain recoveries to happen, it really doesn't impact those long-term goals, which is good for people to hear. When they see their statement is down, that can be helpful to know that, hey, my long-term goals aren't affected by this.
Right. So if someone does not have a financial advisor, are they, what advice would you give them as they're trying to figure out how to lay out these goals in particular?
Yeah, I think, some of those goals, oftentimes people just default to certain rules of thumb that they have, where they say, I want to retire by a certain age, but I don't really know how to get there, so I've heard I'm supposed to contribute, 10% to my retirement account, and so they do that. But really, those rules of thumb are very different depending on, do you have a pension? What age are you trying to retire? What sort of lifestyle are you living? What's Social Security going to replace for you? How much do we want to rely on Social Security?
Yeah.
And so it's really tough without a comprehensive financial plan to have that clarity and confidence. And so that's one of the big things that a financial advisor is able to add. So we love when people come in and they say, hey, retirement's 10 years out, here's my goal. how do I get there, and then we can dive deep on those goals and really establish a plan for them.
Okay, awesome. And you all offer your complimentary consultations, right? So it's just as easy just to call you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have that phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Get ready to feel the power, the passion, and the music of a true rock and roll legend, Tina. The Tina Turner musical is taking place at the Embassy Theater just at the end of this month. It's going to be here for 2 unforgettable nights on May 27th and May 28th. Now, this electrifying Broadway production tells the inspiring story of Tina Turner's rise from humble beginnings to global superstardom. It's packed with all the hits from Proud Mary, What's Love Got to Do with It, and the best. This show doesn't just celebrate her music, it honors her strength, resilience, and the legacy she left behind as the queen of rock and roll. And I have a sneak peek just for you.
All I wanted was my name, Tina Turner. That is mine.
Now who wants to sing with that?
If you are ready to sing, dance, and be inspired, don't miss Tina, the Tina Turner musical at the Embassy Theater on May 27th and 28th. And guess what? I'm giving away 2 tickets to 1 lucky viewer. So head over to the Living Local 15 Facebook and Instagram page to enter. And don't forget to enter on both pages for a double entry. But tickets are going fast, so it's best to grab your tickets now at the Star box office or at fwembassytheater.org. And I'll see you rolling at the show.
Smart home devices, that is, can not only provide peace of mind, but in many cases also save you lots of money. Joining us now with the top tested smart home devices is Senior Director of Content Operations from BestReviews.com, Jacob Palmer. Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. You know, this is a space of technology that got really popular, you know, let's say 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's mature enough that we've got 3 big players in the space, super big brand names, and I'm pretty excited to show people what were our favorites.
Okay, yeah, because I wouldn't know how to choose one brand from the next. So let's start over here, Jacob. What have we got first?
These are the Amazon Echo devices, and what's great about these is that they are very affordable, number one, and they also are super easy to use. Starting with the Echo Show 8, which is the black one here. Okay. My favorite part about this is that it swivels, and it also will follow the person. So if you're watching a show, if you are telling it to follow you while you're cooking something, so you know, you run over here, you need to be able to see it, you run over there, you can still see it.
Wow.
And then the absolute favorite part about it is that it also does that during the video calls. And what's also great about it is with that auto follow, say that you're, you know, maybe video calling grandma, the toddler running around, it will still stay in focus. But if you want to be going with the more cost-effective version, you can go with the Echo Show 5. What I think is the best selling point for the Echo Shows, which is if you're already invested in the Ring technology, you know, a lot of people have them as doorbells or peepholes, and then you can also get a live view into it right away if you set it up with the right command.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to walk to their door and look through the hole because you don't know who's on the other side. So, all right, let's move on to this in the middle here. This is Google, correct?
This is the Google Nest variety.
Okay.
And so we've got a couple here. We got the Google Nest Hub and the Google Nest Mini. And what we love about these is that these are great in a bunch of different environments. The Mini is perfect for if you want to just put it in like more of a bedroom or something like that, because obviously you won't need the screen as much. The other thing that's great about this is that if you are a YouTube TV user, it is awesome in terms of how easy it is to say, hey, can you watch Fox on YouTube TV?
Wow.
Maybe a football game is on or something like that. So that's another great one. And then the speaker, this is about half the price and super affordable. We're talking like less than $50 a lot of the time. So another great option for folks if that's what they're looking for out there.
Very cool. All right, let's move on to the third one now. I love this design, Jacob. This like netting looks so cool. What's that one?
So these are from Apple, and so of course you're going to love the design, because that is what Apple does well, right? Is they have the aesthetics down pat. They have some great technology in them as well, especially the larger Apple HomePod here. This is going to compete more so with like a smart speaker. So if you're in the market for something like from Sonos or something like that, this is going to be that, because this thing is so powerful. To the point that if you're living in a small space, go with the Mini, because this is going to overpower the space before you know it. But if you want kind of that central speaker, that thing that's going to be, the one that you're really playing music from, and then, if you're an Apple Music user, it is great for that, because as we know with Apple products, the more you're invested into their ecosystem, the more it works well together. So this is going to be a great one for that. But then this is cheaper. The Mini is cheaper. It's about half the price, but it gets the job done, especially if you're living in an apartment, you have a smaller room, you want to put it in a bedroom, something like that. And then if you are a Siri power user, these are also going to be for you.
Or there's something for everybody, depending on what's most important to you.
And if you're not sure about what you like, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, because we are diving deep in all of these.
Okay, Jacob, thank you so much. This has been awesome for Home Tech. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, that's Nexstar. For more on these products and many others, head to bestreviews.com or scan the QR code up on your screen right now. Just scan that and you can find all the best reviews.
Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, Nexstar. You can find more on the products and where to buy them on WANE.com.
Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.